This edition of the Rhode Island Spotlight is brought to you by Amica Insurance, a proud sponsor of Beautiful Day. The first thing that hits you as you walk into the kitchen at Beautiful Day is the heavenly aroma. The smell of granola, fresh out of the oven, permeates the first floor of the nonprofit organization on the east side of Providence. But there's a lot more going on here every week than just cooking. Refugees from around the world are learning to work with each other, learn the language, and prepare themselves to get a job outside these walls when their training is over. And making granola is the vehicle to do it.
People come knowing how to work, but somehow kind of getting the sense of how to work in a new environment. I think there's a lot of fear in that.
Keith Cooper is the founding executive director of Beautiful Day, which is marking its 10th anniversary this year. The organization has given 150 refugees from nearly 24 countries the skills they need to work and live on their own in the United States.
Our kitchen, we often have people who that don't share language at all, but they learn to like each other and enjoy each other, and they find ways to communicate, and they find ways to help each other.
The granola is sold at retail outlets, online, and at farmers markets like this one throughout the state.
I understand how they feel because, I've been through it before.
Saad Awad fled Syria as a young man 2 decades ago. He joined Beautiful Day as the kitchen and production manager after owning a restaurant in Narragansett for years.
I love being in the kitchen. I love to cook. This is my weakness.
He has a mixture of patience and tough love as he works with the trainees on production days.
We try here always to make them feel, like welcome and, appreciated and just, like they're not different from anybody else. So for them to come here to this country, and see that they're welcome and they're loved and they're respected and they're welcomed, it means a lot to them because they probably and most likely didn't have that where they come from.
Monday is measuring day, and it takes hours to make sure just the right amount of ingredients are ready for any one of the 20 recipes when the crew comes in on Tuesday to mix and cook. Usually 3 or 4 recipes are in the rotation on a given week. Iman Durier fled Somalia 6 years ago and is the quarterback of this kitchen crew. His English is limited, but somehow the message seems to get through. Over the course of the day, the ingredients go into a giant stainless steel drum. They are thoroughly mixed, then distributed into flat pans, cooked, allowed to cool, then broken up and processed into bags that are then sealed. A lot number goes on each bag, which is then ready to go out the door to its destination.
We try to find people who are struggling to get work. So, somebody who's kind of moving in the job market pretty easily is not really the best fit for us. We're trying to find people who are struggling with English and kind of multiple barriers.
So why granola? Cooper said he and a friend launched a granola business when he was working with refugees at another agency 15 years ago. He found that it checked off a lot of boxes for training people new to this country. But Cooper realized he'd need to go the nonprofit route to make granola and have a job training program added in.
I just knew that we couldn't do the training and afford the extra work that kind of training takes, and start to provide that wraparound service. Like it started to become clear to me, people need a ride home. They sometimes need help getting there.
The feel of accomplishment is always rewarding. To anybody, whoever, wherever they come from, it doesn't matter because, at the end of the day, when you finish something, you feel like you did something.
At a farmer's market on Hope Street over the summer, Beautiful Day has a booth. attracting repeat customers and those who are just discovering its products for the first time.
Just not enough for the trainees to have experience in the kitchen as, you know, production and workplace and stuff. I mean, going out there in the market and talking to people, you know, like interact with real people, you know, like try the challenges of like knowing the language and communicating with them, you know, and be around them is not easy for them, you know. So it's having the market is very, very important, you know, for the training part.
That extended to Waterfire, which bounced back after the pandemic. Beautiful Day decided to set up a booth this year in the thick of the crowd. It gave Awad a chance to showcase a new line of hummus he's developed that reminds him of Syria.
If you go to those commercial hummuses, like they all taste exactly the same because they add so many, like God knows what they put in it, you know. So it loses a lot of the original flavor of the hummus, you know. Like, but when you taste my hummus, it tastes like real hummus from my country.
And he says it's important for the refugees to learn the American principle of marketing.
Like any good business practice, you know, like if you want your product or your name to be out there, you have to work a little hard for it, you know, like you have to go after it. You can't just sit on your chair and expect people, you know, to be like, oh, you know, like your beautiful day, let me guess, you know, like people can't guess.
I always appreciate the diversity of our state, and I wanted to honor the resiliency and the contribution that refugees and immigrants bring to Rhode Island.
Melissa Men-Coletta fled Cambodia with her family in the late 1980s when she was 12. After spending time in refugee camps, they made their way to the United States and eventually Rhode Island. She joined Beautiful Day 4 years ago as the Director of Education, specifically to start a program for teenage refugees.
I felt strongly about the youth program and how we develop over the years, because I feel that being a youth myself, coming here to the U.S., I think I have a perspective that it really lends to, you know, what we do here at Beautiful Day.
Coletta has taken the group on field trips throughout the year, from kayaking and paddleboarding to bowling and apple picking.
The children are shouldering a lot of the responsibility, you know, one being, you know, working to help contribute to the income of the whole household. To see that they, you know, are just so happy to be out in nature and to experience these things that they otherwise don't get to, just brings me a lot of joy in the work that I do.
On a Tuesday night last month, an Afghan couple was busy in the kitchen cooking a native dish for staff and fellow refugees. It is a new weekly tradition that has helped further bond the people working here.
In a lot of cultures, food brings people together, you know, just like when you sit on a table, you know, and you eat, like, and drink and talk, you know, with everybody else, it feels homey, you know. It feels like, you know, these people are not, you know, like bad people. These people are, you know, like just simple, you know, like you want to share a meal with them, you want to, you know, just hang with them, you want to be like part of their life.
On this night, a long table in the conference room is decked out to look like a holiday spread. This will ultimately be Beautiful Day's picture for its annual Christmas card.
We're learning from the refugees that are coming to us as much as they're learning from our training program.
And their challenges are a little bit different depending on where they're coming from.
Absolutely. So every refugee group has their own sets of challenges.
nuance.
It's a nuance, and we have to be, culturally responsive, and by doing that, we have to learn. And we have to be open to learn, because just because I'm a refugee Cambodian doesn't mean that
not
I
one
know.
size fits all,
Right, I
right?
know what the Ukrainians' culture is like.
They come from most likely a bad place, because otherwise they wouldn't be here. They deserve a chance, and we hear a beautiful day, we provide them with that. We open the door for them to go through it, and help them for their transition.
In Providence, Jim Hummel for the Rhode Island Spotlight.
Yeah, I'm in a home.